Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a look at the PTE Academic reading section, the structure, and how it has changed with the recent updates. We'll also go through some strategies on what you really need to develop before you get into the reading section. Now let's begin. Now, reading scores have dropped a lot for candidates this year, and it's not ironic. There has been a lot of shifts that have been made in August of 2025, and so we need to keep updating our skills in order to get a 90 on the reading section. Timing is tighter, and the structure is different. Scoring points come from multiple different areas. This is an integrated exam. That means there are reading points that will come from the writing section and from the listening section. So we are constantly being assessed on our reading skills. Before we talk strategy, let's look at what has actually changed with the recent updates. Now, previously, the old format had about 15 questions, normal, but it was 31 to 32 minutes, so about 30 minutes in total. Now, as of 2025 December, we're approaching 2026, we have 15 to 16 questions, but only 22 to 23 minutes. This means that there is a major shift. The reading section is no longer just assessing how well you could comprehend English. It's actually a time-pressured test. So if you don't work well under time pressure, well, we've got to practice more and more and more. Let's take a look at the scoring system and what has shifted for the weights. All right, so I'm going to pull up this table here. This is all of the scores and the points awarded for the entire exam. And you can see now the summarizer written text, which is typically in the writing section, that has changed a lot. Previously, it only gave you a few marks for your reading part, but now it's up to 18 marks, making it one of the most influential tasks for reading section. Speaking read aloud used to boast reading scores, but now it contributes very little, so we don't have to worry about that one. What we do need to focus on is summarize written text. You're getting a lot of reading points there, so it's very crucial. The reading score, you can see, totals up to 80 points. And you might be thinking, Scott, normally we want a 90 out of 90. Why does this total up to only 80? Well, the minimum possible score for each module is 10 points. That's the baseline. That is fixed. You're guaranteed those 10 points. It's the minimum for the reading score. If you show up and do the exam, you'll get 10. Not a good score. So your performance range is the rest of those 80 points. That's why here you'll calculate 80, but it's out of 90, basically. Now, we will dig into all of this a little bit further, but I do want to say that for the reading section, the fill in the blanks, the drop-down one, has a high weight. That's up to 22 points, so it is the biggest section of the reading point. Drop-down blanks. Now, there's fill in the blanks with drop-down and fill in the blanks drag and drop. Both of these together, extremely influential. So if you're going to focus on only one thing for the reading part, it would be fill in the blanks. I'm not going to put a lot of attention on multiple choice, multiple answer, or multiple choice, single answer, because as you can see from this graph, they have a very tiny weight. And to be honest, during the exam, if you need to skip something because of your time restriction, multiple choice would be the question to skip. You're not going to get a lot of points from it, so don't put too much of focus on it. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Scott from HZadeducation. Every week, we upload videos for PTE Academic. The point is, we want you to get your immigration, to get your job application or your university application done right. And the PTE Academic can be your ticket to success. So if you haven't done so already, do click that subscribe button, hit a like, or comment down below so that we know you exist, and then we can get in contact. Let's continue with some strategies. Now, in order to know how to do well on the reading section, we need to understand the reading parts. So I'm going to look at the biggest ones. First of all, summarize a written text, which, yes, comes from the writing section. Now, you're going to have 18 points come from here. The best way to get a high score here is to pull out 1 to 2 main ideas from the text. It's a long text. It's about 300 words. And then use synonyms. Use your connecting words and use synonyms to change the words but keep the meaning. Now I made a full video on this part, summarize a written text, so please go check out that video for more, because there's lots to know. Okay, now the big hitters for the reading section. Fill in the blanks, drop down. Fill in the blanks, drag and drop. Now you get 15 and 22 points for these depending, but for a drop down, this is a high value area. So make sure that you skim the text completely before you start selecting the answers. You'll get a paragraph like this. You'll need to click the drop down button to choose your correct answer. I'll show you my favorite tip on how to get the right answer just in a few moments. So stay tuned to the end of the video. We'll look at some good tips for this one. In general, I'm going to say you need to skim the whole text. And if you don't know what skimming or scanning the text is, well, keep listening because I want to spend some time speaking with you about it. It's a necessary skill, especially now that they've reduced the time for the reading section to about 22 minutes in total. We need to read fast, drink some coffee before you go to the exam. Fill in the blanks, drag and drop. Now this one's worth 15 points, but together they make up the bulk of the exam. So I want you to be practicing this one at home as much as possible to get the highest score. Now, reorder a paragraph has less points. However, you are given points for pairs that go together. So the entire paragraph doesn't need to be correct. If you'll get more points if it's all correct, but you will still get points if you are pairing sentences together correctly. Like if you find the topic sentence and then there's a connector or a transitional word to the next sentence, you would get points for having two of those together. What you're first going to do is skim all of the bars, all of the sentences, and then look for the topic sentence. The topic sentence is the controlling sentence. This has the main idea. All other sentences will be built around that idea. So you'll be looking for connecting words where they add more information, more detail about that topic sentence. Really important, we'll look for the topic sentence first and then build from there. Multiple choice, multiple answer, or single answer. We won't spend much time here. Keep in mind the time limit, 30 seconds maximum per question. And of course, if you don't know it in those 30 seconds, I do recommend that you skip and pass. It'll waste time. Now, when it comes to the PTE Academic test, I've worked with a lot of students who have been practicing these questions every day, but they still seem to get low marks. And the reason for that is because if you're just practicing exam questions, you're not building the fundamental skills to ace the test. So the core skills that I want you to work on are here. We're thinking about skimming the text, inference, looking for answer, elimination, and the big one is time management. These are the 4 core skills that I want you to develop, and we'll look at them together right now. Skimming the text is a necessary skill for all areas. Basically what it is taking a quick look, scanning through the text to understand generally what it's about. Now, reading, most native English speakers will read at 300 words per minute. Speaking is different. Speaking takes longer. We speak at about 200, sometimes less, 180 words per minute. Let's look at how fast I can read 220 words per minute. It's not very fast, but it'll give you an example of skimming the text. And I'll post the link to this website down below. It's a great tool that all of our students use to practice skimming. First, identify the topic. What is the passage generally about? You only need to know the big picture, not the fine points. Second, notice the structure. Does the passage introduce an idea, expand it, shift to a contrast, draw a conclusion? This matters because both fill in the blanks tasks depend on knowing how ideas connect. If you can tell where the author is going in each sentence, you can eliminate wrong answers much faster. Third, pay attention to the attitude, the direction of the text. Is the author supporting something, questioning it, explaining it, or warning against it? Tone helps you to avoid options that look grammatically correct but do not match the writer's intonation. Do this to skim the text sentence of the text first paragraph, and the transitional sentence of the 3 points usually reveal the entire direction of the passage. After that, you can go into the blanks with confidence. Skimming is not optional. With the 22 to 23 up to 16 questions, you simply cannot afford to read every line. The next core skill about inference goes against what all other English teachers have told you before. Grammar is going to eat up time. If you focus too much on the grammar of the sentence, you might miss the main message. Inferring is when we try to get the general meaning of the question. We're going to look for things like contrast markers, cause and effect signals, sentence purpose, or even subtle cues in the tone that they are telling you. For example, if you're in the listening section. When we spend too much time on grammar, we miss the message, and so being able to infer what the text is telling us is going to help a lot. Very important for reorder the paragraph, fill in the blanks, and multiple choice questions, but again, we're going to spend less time on multiple choice questions. While inference may take some time to develop this skill, the next core skill is something you could apply today during the exam. If you're taking the exam today, I hope you're not watching this video. This is about elimination. Eliminating the wrong answer. Whenever you come to a question like fill in the blanks, drop down, you're presented with 4 options. You should always at least eliminate 2. That will give you a 50% chance of getting the correct answer. And 50% is much better than 25%, so that's our goal. What you're going to do is remove the answers that are obliviously wrong, so they're just in your face, not correct. And then work a little bit harder to break down ones that destroy the logic of the sentence, they don't have the right grammar, or the cohesion is just not right. If you're looking for more one-on-one help for the PTE Academic exam, do get in touch with us at HZadeducation. It's down below, so that we can work with you to help you get the maximum score. It'll be good for your immigration, your education, or your work permit. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable going into this exam. Now, today we went through a lot of the core essential skills that you need for the reading part, but basically I want you to understand that in 2025, they made some updates. The reading section is shorter and the scoring has shifted. So it's no longer just from reading, it also comes from writing and from listening. In the writing section, summarize a written text is the bulk of your reading score, which is kind of strange because it's in the writing, but I get it. Otherwise, we have fill in the blanks, there's 2 of them, and highlight the incorrect summary or highlight the incorrect text from the listening section. Those all carry big weights. So the reading part is no longer just about English comprehension. It's actually about speed, accuracy, and logic. But most importantly, it's about speed. So do work fast. Time management, it's a non-negotiable skill. When you're practicing at home, put yourself in an exam situation, set the clock for 20 minutes, and bang out questions as fast as you can, because that's what you'll be experiencing in the PTE Academic exam. Now, truly, if you found the information in this video helpful, or if you stayed tuned to the end of it, do go ahead, give us a like and subscribe. It helps us to stay committed to giving you the best videos possible with lots of helpful information. I'm Scott from HZad Education. I'll see you in the next one.